What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Some interesting details coming out from the events this weekend. Obviously, most of my videos today will be covering this. There's just so much to talk about, so much to look at, break down, and discuss. Obviously, I'll be doing so live at 1 Eastern with Sticks, Hex, and Hammer today, both over on Quartercast and on Rumble. But right now, I want to look at a couple of angles that came out that obviously look extremely bad for those charged with protecting the presumptive Republican nominee or the Republican nominee, former President Trump, currently running for president, including several reports that not only, one, were there reports of suspicious packages around his car. They left Trump on stage during that. Two, a police officer actually confronted him during or right before the event and retreated. And three, a new angle of just the amount of time and how many people just standing around could see what was happening. But for some reason, the 100 people that were there to protect Donald Trump at no point got him off the stage. I'm not making any conclusions based on this. I'm just presenting the facts and saying, you know, this is why people feel the way they do about certain things. This is why people feel like, you know, how could this have happened? I mean, sometimes, what is it, Hanlon's razor? I don't know. Don't ascribe malice, where ineptitude or whatever can be prescribed. That's certainly possible for this, but it's very, very wild. I want to start by this breakdown video that Milk Bar TV on Twitter put out, because it really, really kind of drives home. Actually, I'm going to start with I'll start with this. It drives home the amount of time, side by side, how much time passed, how many people on the ground were pointing this guy out, how many people were yelling, and at no point did they take Trump off the stage.
He was doing his job. I wouldn't even be doing this.
2 minutes. 2 minutes uninterrupted. You can see everyone on the left.
Top of the roof. Look. Gary's right there.
This is 2 minutes past. Here are bystanders who are filming the guy on the roof. Now, maybe, you know, people thought, oh, it's a photographer. You know, they hadn't seen a clear picture of, you know, the weapon. It's difficult to really ascribe why on earth you might have just let that dude be there. But I think regardless of whether or not you could tell if it was a camera or not, certainly protocol would have said to get rid of, to take Donald Trump off the stage. Even if just, you know, for a minute, till you realize that it's some idiot photographer trying to get, you know, a better angle on it. Obviously, the elephant in the room is when you look at the overhead photos, the overhead layout of this particular area. There's literally like 3 roofs that you even have to worry about. Why there weren't police on those roofs is mind-boggling. That feels like day one tactical stuff. Again, it's easy to look back now, but at the same point, like by the same argument, like, oh, there's 3 roofs in the area. Yeah, we should probably get a man on those. Probably even 2. But, you know, you see plenty of time and opportunity to eliminate the actual threat. WTF is the clip on the left.
Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take
Everybody sees him. You see this clip? It's been 30 seconds. There's not a cop in sight.
Look, there he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our
Here, you can hear him at 36 seconds calling an officer, saying, hey, officer, there's a guy on the roof. You can see him very clearly. If you're watching the video, you can see him at the top of the frame. And he's just belly crawling up the roof.
criminals.
Definitely looking exactly like the type of, you know, scenario that you're there to protect is about to happen.
We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug
right.
dealers. We have people that
Right
should not be
here,
here.
right on the
And
roof.
it's much tougher than
Look at him, right? I mean, you can see him right there.
Right
We're the
on the roof,
strongest
big
border
guy.
ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much?
The chart saved his life because he looks over at the chart.
You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring. I try and explain that. Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right?
So we're going to go fast forward here. So 2 minutes before anything. 2 minutes. You know, I mean, this is pretty great work syncing everything up. Obviously, I'm not there. I wasn't there. The people who are posting, you know, Chan posts like, oh, I'm the guy in the picture, and they told me not to. That's nonsense. But we can look at this time frame. We can see that plenty of people located in the area. There were officers located in the area. People were pointing them out, and nothing was done. Not a single radio call that we know of that says, hey, there's a suspicious person on the roof. And by the way, at that moment, when you see or there's a radio call, hey, there's a suspicious person, you just get Trump off the stage. It's very easy. Like, obviously, you know, we don't know at what point they were able to contact an officer, but now we see this. A police officer confronted him, but retreated when the guy pointed his tool at him, staring new details. Now, a local police officer came face to face with him, but backed away. Now, I'm not saying the guy had to take a lead injection willingly here, but I mean, he could have, you know, radioed. He could have popped off, you know, a couple rounds into the dirt to create noise, to create, increase the pressure to get Trump off the stage. None of that happened. Not long before the shots rang out, rallygoers noticed a man climbing to the top of a roof. By the way, why are rallygoers the ones who noticed this guy? I mean, why are the people that are at the rally, you know, slamming brewskis, pacing around, listening to Trump? Why did dozens and dozens and dozens of them see this guy, but not a single law enforcement officer? One officer climbed to the roof and encountered Crooks, who pointed at him. The officer retreated down the ladder, and then Crooks quickly took aim and fired. When the U.S. Secret Service snipers returned, the officials who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity to discuss an ongoing investigation. According to Butler County Sheriff Michael T. Sloop, the officer was gripping the roof's edge when confronted by Crooks, the business end of Crooks, because of his position, and he did not have a weapon with him. He had to drop back to the ground. Why would a police officer not be armed? This was a police officer. Why wouldn't he be armed? Was he off duty? Even then, in my experience, off-duty officers are always carrying. It's wild. He lets go because he doesn't want to lose his life. Sloop told Washington Post, that guy's an effing cop. Come on, man. Many damning and terrifying questions remain unanswered. The FBI has obviously launched a probe into what happened in the moments leading to the attempt. Many people obviously pointing to the fact that all of these systemic failures seem to happen directly after Democrats tried to defeat him, electorally, then tried to defeat him using lawfare. And when that failed, they ran the debate stage up there. And when that failed, this is what happens. A lot of people, I think, rightfully pointing at a lot of the rhetoric around Democrats and the mainstream media who have been painting Orange Man as the second coming of the world's worst human. You can only raise the temperature so much on a populace where some of the more unhinged elements of it will take action. Let's say it was completely this loser's decision and plan, and he went through and did this, which is is extremely likely. You only need to turn it up. Remember in the O'Keefe documents when he was talking to somebody from an intelligence agency, where they literally admit to like using social media posts to turn up the heat, to basically get people to break the law or to get people to say something that will get them in trouble, get them caught. You see, obviously, here in this now infamous or famous BBC interview, a dude wearing a funny Trump hat talks about how basically everybody saw this guy climbing up the roof. They were calling, trying to get the PD's attention. The time it took somebody to, by the way, he was also carrying, it wasn't like it was something small. So he walked over, climbed a roof, obtained a line of sight, a position, obtained the target. Now that part could have been done somewhat quickly, milling around, but, how did he get there? How would there no police, seeing, hey, there's a guy climbing up on a roof. You see this, how the Secret Service may have failed to stop them. Obviously, they failed. I mean, that's not a may have. And we're also learning today that there actually weren't very many Secret Service agents there. Coincidentally, Trump is just days from getting a full Secret Service package. I wonder why the man picked that day. You see, he was spotted and watched by law enforcement at the rally site because they sensed something wasn't right, according to reports. But they lost sight of him before the carnage unfolded. If you see somebody, this is like literally any idiot that's ever been to the airport knows this. If you see something, say something, right? Hey, there's a guy, he looks, suspicious, be on high alert. I think it's very reasonable to have taken Trump off the stage for 5 minutes at that point, to clear the area, clear the scene. But they didn't do that. Witnesses say they themselves warned cops about a man climbing to the top of the building, but he was still able to open fire. Why were the alerts ignored? Why did the Secret Service fail to protect a former president and presidential candidate just 4 months before the election? I mean, these are all questions that, obviously, these are questions that we need answering. Many people pointing to many of the diversity, equity, and inclusion policies of Secret Service, but there weren't even that many Secret Service agents there that day, and you also had a lot of local law enforcement that almost certainly was charged with protecting him. I think there's lots of blame to go around. How on earth you decide, hey, there's only like 2 high spots in the area, high vantage points. Let's just leave those unwatched. How you make that decision is beyond insane to me. I don't understand how anybody who's guarded more than a bag of Cheetos would ever make that decision. There's lots of questions here about, hey, they confronted him too late. They saw him, they let him go. They lost sight of him, and at no point, so basically you had the 2 minutes for where this guy's on the roof, but then you had probably 20, 30 minutes beforehand where people had seen him and thought he looked suspicious, and they just let Trump stand up there like, a literal sitting duck. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe or follow, and we'll talk to you again real soon.